Hi, Ernie.
Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Good to see you. Who's Ready Now's iPhone? Who's that?
What? I don't know. I think it's somebody.
Maybe it's Walter.
No, from the. I think it's from the novice here. I don't know why.
Maybe they thought we're giving the Novi Shield. Here's Harold.
Yeah.
Givach.
Shavua Tov.
So where are you, Ernie?
I'm in Modi'in
Modi'in. Oh, very nice.
by Dahlia. We spend
Yeah.
Shabbos here. We'll be in Ranana for the next Shabbos, and in Yerushalayim in the middle.
Wow.
When are you coming?
God willing, next Sunday.
So there won't be again a Novi next Sunday.
No, Sunday night. We're coming back Sunday morning. So hopefully there'll be a Novi Shir Sunday night next week.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
And no Surba this week.
The Tsurba would have to be at 9 o'clock. I brought my Tsurba in case people wanted to learn, but it would have to be at 9 o'clock. We'll have to pull people.
Okay.
Fine with me. I'd love to do it. Because in the morning, 7 o'clock, and then let me see. That would be Wednesday morning. I'll be in touch with my schedule. I've got to look at that.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So we're on Chaf Amid Aleph 20.
Mhm.
Kasha Rabbi Kiva. We found a stira in two Rabbi Kivas. One Rabbi Kiva is a case where the Megillah had not been erased. In that case, you don't make her drink against her will. And and in the other price that we brought in the name of Rabbi Kiva, that if the mincha had not been offered yet, even though the Megillah had been erased, we also don't make her drink. So trade Tanoim v'alibid Rabbi Yehuda. So there's a machlokas Tanoim in how Rabbi Kiva learned. Okay, iboilahu. Amra eni shoisa. Machlas priyusa. Remember we said that if she says, I don't want to drink, this is after the Megillah has been dissolved and the mincha has been offered, and we see that she's afraid, we force her to drink. But if she says any shosa and she's not afraid, then she doesn't have to drink and she loses her ksuba, and that's fine. But then chazra amar shoisani. But now is a case where she says, I do want to drink. Kivan damar any shoisa tmeani komer. It's as if she said, I committed adultery. Once she admitted to being an adulteress, we don't make her drink. O Dilma, even Damar Shoisani, Galia died to the Machmas Yususa Damra. It must be that the reason why she said I didn't want to drink is because she was afraid. So maybe we do make her drink. Teku. So the Rambam Paskins, if she says I'm not going to drink, and then later on, that she wants to drink, we paskin l'chuma that we don't allow her to drink. We put a bitter flavoring into the water. My time. These are water that are already bitter before you dissolve the Megillah. Mishnah. If they had not dissolved the Megillah, and she says, I don't want to drink, but what do we do with the Megillah that we wrote with the name of Hashem on it? So Megillah Nignezes, we bury it. Now we prepared a mincha. What do we do with the mincha? We burn the mincha on like a smoke pile, not on the mizbeach. We can't use that Megillah for another woman. Each Megillah has to be written for a specific woman. What about they've already dissolved the Megillah? Nimchas Megillah. V'amra tmeani. And now she admits, I'm an adulteress. Hamayim nishpachim. They dump the water. Minchasim is pazer also base addition. They burn the mincha. Nimcha Megillah v'amra eni shoisa. They've dissolved the Megillah. She said, I don't want to drink. So that we already were. We force her to drink. Any maspek lishtos, while she's drinking, her face turns green. Her eyes stand out. Behemis males gidin, and her veins fill up with blood. And they see she's going to die. They give an order, take her out. They don't want a dead body in the Azara Ezras Noshim of the Beis HaMikdash. However, if this is a woman that had merit, she wouldn't die right away. Sometimes the merit would allow her to live 1 year, 2 years, Mikanam ben Azai, Chai Vadim Lalamed is Bito Torah. You have this is very interesting because we just learned this in the Tzorba, that here, in Azai's opinion, you're obligated to teach your daughter Torah, to give her schuyos. Shim tishteh, if she ever becomes a woman who has to drink, Teda shas Torah, she'll have merit. However, Rabbi Yezra Omer, Kalam Alamed Bito Torah, it's Ki'ilu Loim de Tiflis. It's as if he taught her like znus. That's what the Gemara is going to say it means. Or waste of time, basically. Rabbi Shlomo Rotza Isha Bekav Tiflus, Metisha Kabinu Precious. A woman would have less parnasa, along with promiscuity, more than 9 kavs of material assets, but have to live a life of precious. The Gemara will tell us what that means. Let's say a person gives away all of his money as tzedakah. He's a chassid, but he's not sane. Rasha or Rum, the Gemara will have different explanations, like a cunning, evil person. The Isha Prusha, a woman who stays away from znus, umakos prushin, and people who beat themselves. Again, the Gemara will explain all of this, what these things mean. Amir Mishmua Mishrab Meir. Shayiti Lamitoritz Rabbi Kiva. Good vach, everybody.
Good vach, Ernie.
We're on Chaf Amid Bey, Chaf Amid Aleph, where the Gemara starts, right after the Mishnah. Amr Vidam Shmuel, Mishum Rab Meir. Kshayisi Lamei Toretz Rabbi Kiva. Rab Meir is testifying that when he used to learn Torah by Rabbi Kiva, you see Matil Kankantum Utochadyo. Kankantum is an additive that prevents the dye from being erased. So he used to put some of that into the ink. The law Amarli Dover. It seems like Rabbi Kiva proved, because I Walter a good vach.
Aye.
And he didn't say that it was a problem. We're on Chaf Amad Aleph, where the Gemara started. When I learned Torah by Rabbi Kiva, I would add this additive kankantum into the ink, which prevents erasure. The law Amarli Davi didn't have a problem with it. When I came to the two great disputants in their generation was Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel. Interesting, both died a martyr's death. Rabbi Shmuel, his death is described as one of the Asar Rugim Malchus, and also Rabbi Kiva was killed by the Romans. He was killed much later, in a later period. Rabbi Kiva was killed like 135 CE, and Rabbi Shmuel was killed around the time of the Churban, along with Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, which is also described in the Eila Esker of Yom Kippur. So Rabbi Shmuel asked Amar li b'ni ma amlachtecha, what do you do for a living? Amarti lo lavlo, I'm a sofer. Amar li b'ni, Avi Zoyer, shemlachtecha mlecha shamayim hi. Your job, you work for Shemayim, basically. You're a clay kodesh. Shematachzer oisachos or tater oisachos of you miss one letter or add one letter to a Sefer Torah, you destroy the whole world. Because people are going to change the understanding of the halacha. I have an additive that I add to the ink. How can you add it? In the Sotah Parsha, it says that the ink has to be erasable. So it looks like Rabbi Shmuel is against the sheet of using the kankantu, and Rabbi Kiva was not. Well, first of all, the Gemara doesn't understand the dialogue between Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Meir. I mean, they were like talking across each other. Rabbi Shmuel didn't ask him what he puts in the diyoy. Not only do you not have to worry about me, because Rabbi Shmuel say, you work for Shemayim, you have to be careful. So Rabbi Meir responded, it's not only enough I'm careful about missing letters and adding letters, the Baki I'm a expert. But what about, as you're writing a Sefer Torah, a fly is going to land on one of the freshly written letters. You write a dalid, right? At the end of the dalid, there's a little piece that sticks out that makes it look like a dalid instead of a resh. The fly is going to land there, pick up the ink, and it's going to look like a resh. And that could change the word echad to acher, right? Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem acher. So to avoid that, Dover echad yesh li shani matil l'toch hadio. I have an additive that I add to the ink, v'kankantum shmo, period. So that was the dialogue. So the Gemara says, Eini, first of all, this whole thing is not correct. Latanya. Amrav Meir, Kishayiti Lomei Torah, Eitz Rabbi Shmuel. When I learned Torah Rabbi Shmuel, I see Matal Kankantum Tochadio. I put this additive in the ink. B'lo Dover. Here in this price, it's Rabbi Shmuel didn't care. It's Rabbi Kiva Asralai. He prohibited me. So number one, Kasha Shimush Hashimush. First of all, who did Rabbi Meir learn with first? The first Brisa said he learned with Rabbi Kiva first, then went over to Rabbi Shmuel. The second Brisa says it was the opposite. Also, Kasha Asra Asra. It's contradictory. In the first Brisa, Rabbi Kiva permits the use, and in the second Brisa, Rabbi Shmuel permits the use. Bishma Shimush Hashimush L'Kasha. So who they learned with is not a problem. Mikara Asla Kamed Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Meir went to Rabbi Kiva first. He had a very complicated shir. Even though he couldn't understand what Rabbi Kiva was saying. Also, he went to Rabbi Shmuel. It was easier for him to receive the Masorah and the halacha as they were handed down from Rabbi Shmuel. Then, when he was armed with that knowledge, Rabbi Kiva learned the logic behind the halacha, which was more complicated. But once he had learned the basics from Shmuel, he went back to Rabbi Kiva. Ela asra asra kasha. What do you do with this contradictory barisis in terms of who permitted? So kasha. So Sefer Torah, mezuzahs, and tefillin, if you wrote it with kankantum, they're kosher, like Rav Meir. as long as it's black. You can't use a colored ink. Tanya Rabbi Omer, Omer Ayi Rabbi Meir, Lakol Matilin Kanu Tochad Yo, Chutz Me'Parsha Soita Bilvad. Rabbi Meir held that a sofer could use kankantum when he was writing a Sefer Torah, except for the parsha of Sotah that's written in the Sefer Torah, even in the Sefer Torah. Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yishmael, Chutz Me'Parsha Soita Shel Mikdash. No. You could use kankantum on anything, but the Megillas that were written at the time that they brought a Sotah woman to the base of Mikdash, that had to be written without kankantum, because of course you have to dissolve it. My binayu. What's the difference? According to Rav Meir, you could take a Sefer Torah, technically, and cut out that piece and use it to dissolve. So that's why he held that when you write a Sefer Torah, you have to write that parsha without that special additive, otherwise you won't be able to dissolve it. Rav Yaakov says it's usher to use a Sefer Torah. It's the same machloikes as the five machloikes Tanoi. The Tanya, Ein Megillah Ksher Lashkas Basoita Acheres. You have to write a Megillah Lishma for the sake of that particular woman. So you can't, if you wrote it for Rachel, you can't use it for Leah. So you can't use a Parsha Sotah from a Sefer Torah because that Sefer Torah wasn't written l'shem that woman. Rabbi Chai Bar Yoshia, he held you could use a different Megillah. You could use a Megillah that was written for Rachel, for Leah. The halach is you can't. It has to be Lishmo. Perhaps the machlokas between Rav Meir and Rabbi Yaakov is not the same. Ad kan lakomer tanakama hasam. That the reason one Tana holds you can't erase one Megillah that was written for a different one. Like even the intit l'shem Rachel adam intit l'shem Leah. One was written for Rachel, can't be used for Leah. But aval, the parsha that's written in a Sefer Torah b'Torah, the stomach siva, that's written stam. You don't have anything in mind when you write a Sefer Torah. Maybe you could use that for any woman. Also, Dilmaloyi, another way to say that it's not the same machlekes. Ad kadam Rav Achai Bar Yoshia. Rav Achai over there says that you could use one Megillah for another. That's been Megillah. The Ichtev l'shum alois ba'olam. It's written for curses, for a Torah, for a Sotah. Aval Torah, when you write a Sefer Torah, Shali Islamic, you're supposed to learn from that ksiva. Ochanami, he'll also maybe agree to lo machkina. Rav Achai Bar Yoshia, does he not hold Leslie Rav Achai, who seemed to hold that you wouldn't have to write a Megillah l'shem a specific woman for the Sotah? Does he also hold Kosof l'garsh zishto v'nimlach motzu benir v'amelo shmi kishmech v'shem ishti k'shem ishtich apostle garishbo? Person writes a get, and it says Reuven ben Shimon, and it has his name of his wife, and he loses it. Another person in town finds Megillah, and he's also Reuven ben Shimon. He has the same wife. You're not allowed to use it because at least by get, it has to be written l'shem that specific woman. So there's Rav Achai Bar Yoshia who holds by Megillah. Would he hold the same way by a get? I mean, no. Pasuk over there says because of law, sefer krisus amrachmana. Be'ining ksiv lishma, you need the writing the get l'shem that specific woman. The Gemara says that's not a rai. Hochanami v'asa law. Here also it says lishma. So no, mayas is mechika. That's erasing. You have to, if you're going to erase this Megillah for Leah, it has to be used for Leah. But the ksiva could be perhaps written for a different thing. Then Einem aspekas lishtos atshba. We said that if her face turns green and it looks like she's dying, they give a command and they take her out of the Beis Hamikdash so she doesn't die in the Beis Hamikdash. Mani, who is that? Rav Shimon, the Omar, Makriv es minchota. He's the one who held that first they're Makriv the mincha and then they make her drink. The comment of the Kavim minchos lo bad kilamai. The water won't work until the mincha has been offered. The chsiv minchas zikar masker savar. But then aim a sefer. Let's learn the sefer of the Mishnah. Yesh l'schus, if she has merits, haisa toilala, so she wouldn't die right away. So it must be asan rabbanon that says that no, first she drinks before they do the mincha. The Reb Shimon Omer ein schus toilet b'mayim amori. Reb Shimon held that all women die. There is no concept of schuyos keeping women alive. This is a third shita. The shita of Rabbi Kiva, the Omar, Makrivis minchasov achkach mashcha. He held regarding offering the mincha first, like Rabbi Shimon, but uvischus, he held that merits would keep them alive. So the Kohanim would say, take her out, because she's going to die, and we want to get the tumah out. My time at the tumah mesa. So the Gemara doesn't understand. You cannot bring a corpse in the Ezra Noshim, which is considered machlel leviyah v'atanya. You're allowed to bring a corpse into machlel leviyah. Not just a person who is tamei meis can go there. The corpse itself. Where do we have the proof for that? Shenemar. It says that Moshe kept the bones of Yosef with him, and he lived in Machna Leviyah. Amar Abaya. Abaya says, we weren't worried about Tumas Meis. He said, Shematifros Nida. She's going to be Metame the Azara with Tumas Nida. And Nida may not go into Machna Leviyah. So, Lemeimer de be Yisusa Marafia, does being afraid make a woman have her period? The Gemara says yes. Tichsiv, it says by Megillas Esther, that Tischalchal HaMalka Me'od, B'amarav Shapir Shanida. We learn in Megillah that when it says Tischalchal HaMalka Me'od, she became a nida because of fear. Fear causes women not to have their period. So the Gemara answers, Pachad, something that is a prolonged fear that's going to happen in the future, tsamis. So that prevents period. Biatuta, which is a sudden fright, that Merafi makes her loose and causes her to break out in a period. Yesh l'schus, we said if she had merits, she wouldn't die right away. Mani masnis. Lo Rabbi Yossi ben Chanan, v'lo Rabbi Elazar ben Yitzchak, ish kvar darim, v'lo Rabbi Yishmael, the Tanya. Yesh l'schus, tol lo shlosha chadoshim, k'dei akaras ha'uber divrei Rabbi Yossi ben Chanan, that if she has merits, she would stay alive for 3 months, and now we would know whether she's pregnant or not from the adultery that she had. 9 full months she would stay alive. Somebody who's already counted as born, which is 9 months. A complete year. Daniel gave prophecy to Nebuchadnezzar when he interpreted his dream that he's going to get punished, he's going to be treated like a behemoth. Now we're going to go to Chafala. Mario,
Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm going to do 2 blood today.